NBA playoffs continue on Monday night. Game 2s are now here, and we've got 2 of them. Dos Game 2s on Monday night, April the 21st. I'm going to give you free plays, free analysis, side total player props in both games here coming up right now. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV. And we got all the Game 1s out of the way on Saturday and Sunday, and the NBA playoffs continue here on Monday night with 2 Game 2s, the first ones of these series. And just a quick primer for you. The zigzag doesn't always work, but it does seem to work better in Game 2s overall year after year, where especially a road underdog that lost Game 1. And we had that situation for both Game 2s here, so let's dig in and see if either one are worth a look here on Monday night. First of all, we'll talk about the 7 o'clock Eastern game in the Eastern Conference, 7:30 actually to be exact, Detroit and New York. Pistons were in control in Game 1 on Saturday, 98-90 lead outright as a 7-point dog covering by 15 points until the wheels fell off. The Knicks went on a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter and ended up winning by 11. I like Detroit in Game 1. I was concerned about the playoff experience edge for New York, but I really don't think that's what it was. I mean, the Pistons were controlling the game for the majority of the time, up 8, and then they give up a 21-0 run, one of the longest in NBA history, and still missed out covering by just a couple baskets. So I think the situational bounce-back spot does work here, and the early sharp money seems to agree. Line opened 7, just like it was in Game 1. It's now 6.5, even some 6s at the sharper offshore books around the world. So I agree with the move to Detroit. I think it's a good bounce-back spot for them in Game 2. And yes, the Knicks are the veteran team, but if you look at the numbers this year, Pistons aren't too far off. They're only a couple points behind in net rating. They're a very good defensive team. In fact, Detroit overall this season ranks top 10 on defense. They're 10th overall in defensive efficiency. Knicks are only 13th. Knicks are a little bit better offensively at 5th. Detroit 14th. And the one thing that does concern you a bit about Game 1 is Detroit was plus 15 from beyond the three-point line and still lost by 11. So that means the Knicks were plus 26 from two-point range in the free throw line. Once again, that's the concern here. But I think overall this is a even more close matchup than people realize. And I also think the Knicks might let down a little bit. They have a tendency to let down after a win, being a veteran team. And keep in mind, Detroit had won and covered 3 in a row to finish the regular season in this series until blowing that lead on Saturday. As far as player props, always like to dig into the box score after the previous game, see where maybe guys had a lot of shot attempts, but the shots weren't falling, or vice versa. A guy was red hopping, only took a couple shots. We use the zigzag for sides and totals, but we can use it as well for player props. So let's first look. Detroit was led, obviously, by Cunningham with 21 points. Not led, but obviously he's their leader. Cade Cunningham, only 8 for 21 and 21 points. So wouldn't be surprised to see Cunningham have a bigger game here. If the Pistons do play well and bounce back, his prop probably gets over for total points. Tobias Harris, meanwhile, had 25 points. He was the point leader, but something that was interesting about Harris is that he was minus 16 as plus-minus. Cunningham was only minus 6, but Duran and Harris are minus 20 and minus 16. And that's when the Knicks went on the run. They were on the court the majority of that time as the reason. So maybe they play a little bit less at times. Duran was a starter. He only had 24 minutes as the center. He was 3 for 4, 7 points, but it was minus 20 plus minus. His under could be worth a look if they limit him a little bit more. The matchup obviously was not working with him on the court. I expect Tobias Harris to get a lot of minutes still, but once again, he had 25. I think Cunningham over his point total. He only had 21 in the last game. I look for him to get up and over. We're seeing the point total probably in the 26 range is what I would expect. 26.5 is what I'm seeing in most spots, and that's right near his scoring average for the season. So I'd like Cade Cunningham over 26.5 points if you're looking at some player props. As far as the game total, open 221. Sharp money bumped it to 222, and that's not a surprise. Game 1 had 235 points, so we did see a little bit of early sharp money on the over in this one. That's your 7:30 Eastern game Monday night in the NBA Eastern Conference opening round. All right, let's look at the West here in a moment. Clippers and Nuggets. Quick reminder, though, 7 days for $77 is still available on my page right now. No promo code needed. You can get baseball and basketball best bets each and every day. It's an instant discount. Normally 7 days is $99, but you get 7 days for just $77 because it is a special offer we ran this past weekend, and there's one more day remaining. So if you missed out getting on board, you got another day to do so. Get the next 7 days and nights for just $77. All sports, all access. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/. By the way, the rest of the NBA playoffs, the entire NBA playoffs, just $195. That special offer remaining as well if you want the NBA only. This is a great time of the year, in my opinion, to be playing both, as last year baseball and basketball combined was incredible for the next few months. In fact, we had doubled our bankroll by the end of August and won over 100 units in all sports for my clients last year. In 2024, we're looking to do it again here in 2025. All right, let's look at the late game on Monday night, the Western Conference game at 10 Eastern, Clippers and Nuggets. And this was a great game one. Went to overtime. Denver overcame a 15-point deficit in regulation to pull that comeback and win the game 112-110. Pretty even game. Clippers got off to a fast start. They were up 8 after the first quarter, had a 15-point lead, as I said, at one point. But down the stretch, it was a pretty close game. LA was up by 3 entering the fourth quarter, and then they lost by 2 in OT. Denver kind of wore them out. And keep in mind, thin air and altitude. I know these are pros. They're used to playing in Denver and Utah, but you got to wonder if that was part of the factor there. And now with the day of rest, they have to come right back and play in the thin air and altitude as well. Nuggets closed as high as a 3-point favorite in game one. We've definitely seen a reversal in this one. They opened Denver briefly as a 2-point favorite for game two. Sharp money quickly came in on the Clippers. They're now -1, even 1.5-point road favorites. So the early sharp money likes the Clippers in this game, and I wouldn't disagree. It does look like a decent bounce-back spot for them. Nuggets have underachieved this season. They fire Mike Malone. They fired their general manager a couple Tuesdays ago, and obviously the team has responded. They're a perfect 4-0 straight up after firing the coach and GM, and that was after 4 straight losses. In fact, they'd gone 1-6 straight up. They fired Malone, they fired the GM, they've gone 4-0 since. And that's not a shock to me because this is a team that was not playing. By the 1-6, by the way, was against the spread. I believe they were 2-5 straight up. So not playing well either way, but 1-6 against the number. They're now 4-0 straight up, 3-1 against the number because once again, they only won by 2 as a 3-point favorite, a near miss with that overtime win on Saturday. But you get the point. The Nuggets are playing much better basketball without Malone. It's not a fluke. Reports are coming out now that Jokic and other players did not like him. And we often see, a spark from teams when they fire a coach, but it's usually a team that's struggling, losing during the regular season. I can't recall a time ever that they fired someone a week before the playoffs, a highly seeded team, a team that won the World Championship 2 years ago. If you can think of another instance where a playoff team fired a coach a week before the postseason, leave it in the comments below because I can't think of one offhand. I'm sure there's been one, but I've been doing this for now 29 years, and I don't remember handicapping any games in which the situations occurred in the last 4 decades. As far as the Clippers, they're also playing excellent basketball. In fact, that loss on Saturday in overtime was their first loss in April. They had lost a game going back to the last week of March. I believe it was 8 straight wins, and that loss came in OT, so they've still been really good in regulation. So 2 teams that have some upside here, but I think all things equal, the zigzag probably works in this competitive series. Clippers bounce back, but once again, the sharp money hit that line hard. They took it from +2 to -1, 1.5 already. Total big adjustment on the over-under. I believe it closed around 225 in game one. They opened at 219 here in game two. The odds makers did, and the sharp money quickly came in on the under, knocked it down to 218, even a 217.5 in one of the sharper offshore books over the weekend. So once again, early sharp money on the Clippers and the under in this game. And that first game, even with overtime, landed just 222 and stayed under the total of 225. And once again, there were 26 points scored in overtime, which means they were sitting at just 196 at the end of regulation. 196 was the score at the end of regulation, 98 all. So it was well under by about 29 points, the game total. We've seen an adjustment. If you look at the shooting percentages, there was nothing misleading. Denver was 33% from three-point range. Clippers were 36%. They shot 50% overall in the game. Nuggets shot 44%, and it still flew under the total. So the pace was slow. Denver's defense has been weaker the last couple months overall this season, but once again with the coaching change, maybe that's changed as well. Clippers, the 3rd most efficient defense in the NBA this season. They have a nice edge there defensively. Offensively, they were a weaker team, though, and they were not nearly as strong as Denver efficiency-wise if you look at the metrics on offense. And the Nuggets, I mentioned, a much weaker defensive team, but they made up for it with the 4th best offensive efficiency in the league this year and the 2nd best effective field goal percentage and true shooting percentage, which weights three-pointers, true shooting percentage factors, and free throws. Denver is number 2 in the league in both those categories. So it's kind of offense versus defense. We'll see if defenses bounces back. But once again, early money on the Clippers and the under, which makes sense because I do think the Clippers are going to have to win with defense here in Game 2. All right, let's look at some player props real quick on the way out. Let's dig into that box score from Game 1. We'll start with the Nuggets. Jokic, 29 points, 12 assists, but only 9 rebounds. He missed the triple-double by 1 rebound. He's a tough guy to ever fade. We're never going to look to do so. Aaron Gordon had a huge game, obviously, with the 25 points. He was 8 for 14, just 1 for 3 from 3. Can't play much better than that, so maybe we look Gordon under. The Clippers, good defensive team, will probably key in on him a little bit more. Problem is his total is only around 16.5, 17. So once again, he'd have to hit his season average is about 14.5, 15 points. But I still think Aaron Gordon likely to regress here in Game 2 if you're looking for a player that might regress. Michael Porter Jr. just 3 points, and there was nothing misleading about that. He had only 4 shot attempts. 1 for 4 from the field. He was 1 for 2 from 3 and 0 for 2 from 2-point range. Maybe Porter Jr. bounces back, but I'd be careful. He did not play well. And Jamal Murray, 7 for 20, 21 points. So nothing too crazy in the Denver box score. Looking at the Clippers box score, Zubac and Leonard, 21 and 22 points each. And, of course, Harden, 32 points. So 3 of their guys really carried them in that game. Powell was 5 for 12 with 12 points. Dunn, 4 for 8, 10 points. If you can find props on Dunn, he did play 30 minutes, but only took 8 shot attempts. So he didn't really get a lot of looks and still ended up with 10 points. I don't think he can probably do much more than that. So that's someone else that you might want to take a look at to the under. Last I checked, I did see some props on him around 6.5. So once again, it's a little bit lower, but he averages 6.5 on the season, and he wasn't really that active. He shot 50% and still only got to 10 points. So Dunn under for the Clippers could be one of those off-the-radar players that you look to fade in Game 2. All right, there you go. Quick hitter for both games on Monday night. I'm going to keep doing this. I've done every NBA playoff game every day so far this postseason, and I will continue to do so if you find it useful. So thumbs up, like the video, and comment below. The more positive comments, the more free play videos I do every day, including every NBA playoff game this entire postseason. Got both of them here for Monday. There are 3 of them tomorrow night on Tuesday. We've got Bucks, Pacers, Grizzlies, Thunder. Grizzlies lost by 51 on Sunday, the most ever in a Game 1. Will they bounce back? Well, I've got the answer for you in tomorrow's video. And then Lakers and T-Wolves. Lakers got blown out and embarrassed as well Saturday night. So some interesting bounce back spots. And Milwaukee got blown out as well, trying to get Damian Lillard back. So some great games to talk about in the Tuesday video. Be sure to click subscribe and click that bell. You will get an instant alert. The minute the free play videos are posted every day, you will know instantly when my NBA playoff video is posted for each day. I'm going to try to get up the day before since we have rest between, so you get extra time to prep and do your own handicap. And once again, if you're finding it useful, comment below. I read the comments and I reply back. And don't forget, if you want my personal best bets each and every day, check out my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. I mentioned the 7 days all sports for $77. No promo code needed. That offer expires tomorrow, so you're one more day to lock in and get 7 days for $77. Or if you want to start taking a long-term true investment approach, now's a great time to do so. Last year, we were red hot in the NBA playoffs and Major League Baseball starting right now, and we ran it up to our bankroll doubled by the end of August. Over 100 units won by the end of August for all sports clients in 2024. And right now, you get all sport, all access, every play, every day for about $1 a play with promo code SM365. It's an instant $811 discount off the normal 1-year all access price, and it gets you every play, every day. Gets you the entire NBA playoffs, the rest of this baseball season, all of next year's college and pro football seasons, all of next year's college basketball season through the championship and March Madness, and also about a month of baseball next year, and then also all of next year's NBA regular season. This really is a great time to lock in and start taking a true investment approach. You're going to get all the major sports. You're going to get basically complete seasons for all of them, and this is also a time where I go red hot year after year. I've done this since 1996, 29 years as a professional handicapper. 4 decades of doing the NBA playoffs, and I honestly believe the NBA playoffs year after year are the most consistent moneymaker in all of sports. And baseball last year was incredible. We won over 100 units alone in baseball, and once again, we'd already doubled our bankroll in all sports by the end of August. Check it out, promo code SM365. Full details on my page, along with a daily free play. Last cut, just a bit outside for making the best bet card, goes up as a free play for everybody on my page each and every day. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and yeah, get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. Follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merril. You know the deal. 2 R's, 1 L, Merril at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV because you also know there's more free play videos coming up next.